Mm. Yeah. Mm. All right. Well, good day, everybody. My name is Dr. Laura Gravel, and I'm so excited to be on the forum of the Empowering Women London and share my expertise in the area of stress with you. So we'll just wait, um, a minute or so. It is the 2:30, and this is the time that I had to allot to do the this is the best time for me to do this. This is recorded. So even if you're going to be catching the replay, I thank you so much for taking this time to either join live, which we'll see if people are able to do that, join the forum. If not, I thank you for taking the time after for yourself, really, to learn this information. And information's great if we act on it, right? Um, hello. All right. Hello, Mandy. Hi. Okay. There we are. Um, and we're just waiting on, I see we have a couple of people on here, and we're just waiting on people to join the forum. So I'm excited we have some live bodies on here today. And again, I'll just wait another minute or two before I get going. But I thank you and welcome. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna, you know what? It's 2:32. So if people chime in, people chime in. So this is me. This is Dr. Laura Gravel. And gosh, funny things happen on the way to the farm. As we're talking about stress today, you can sometimes get so flustered that things may not be going your way or going right. And of course, my neighbor is cutting down a tree right now. Number one, he's cutting down a tree, but it's so loud in my home. I have 4 small children and they are all at school. But I had it set up where I was going to do the webinar and I have to actually go in the farthest. One of my children has the room at the front of the house, and that's where Dr. Laura is now. So I kind of think that's ironic that in a stressful time, we have to know we have to pivot, right? We have to do things a little differently. So here we are. Anyway, let's get going. A little comedy to start today. But welcome to those who are joining me live and joining me maybe later for the recording. But welcome to Press the Reset on Stress. I mean, I don't know about you, but holy crap, have I had enough. I've had enough of stress, of just fear, of worry, of oh my gosh, the sleeplessness, the fear, lack of control, safety, all rolled into what we have just been through as a society that I don't think you can't compare to anything, right? Lockdown and quarantine. Who thought those words would be in our vernaculum? But really at the end, the end result of all of this stress is that body moves away from thrival, from being our best, from being from being the superpower, amazing, empowered women that we are, to simply surviving from March the 13th on. You know, when we're in that lack of safety, that security, that support, our brain goes to default. And I'm so excited. I'm just gonna, I see people chiming in here. So we're gonna go to good day, good day, good day. I see we have a few people live. Wonderful. So what I'm really excited to illuminate today is really what stress looks like in the body, what stress feels like, and how we can come out of all of this stronger, really more resilient, and have that ability to flex and dodge with grace, right? Really uncovering that path forward so often. And I know people hear it all the time. Oh gosh, I want to go back to normal. When are things going to go back to normal? But you know what? I don't want to. I do not want to go back to normal. And you know why? I want to go farther. I want to go faster. I want to go stronger. I want to move away. And I know y'all are with me. Move away from that weakness to strength. How strong can I be? How virulent can I be? How resilient can I be? You know, we've just all kind of had a PA day, right, for the last 6 months. I say a recess, a corner timeout, really to really recalibrate our lives, to look back and say, I don't want to go to the treadmill of stress and the treadmill of life and the disconnection in my body that I was for how many years, right? So a little bit about me. You see my picture there. I just had some new headshots done, so I'm super excited about how they turned out. My name's Dr. Laura Gerbel. I am a chiropractor, and I am based here in London, Ontario. And I've been in practice for 17 years. Oh gosh, graduated in 2003. And I'm a community leader in wellness and serve at the highest level. And I pride myself in being very thorough, being very understanding, compassionate, taking the concepts, and that's what we're going to work on today. Concepts, or I'm going to share with you concepts of chiropractic to bring them relevant to our lives, really. I always listen, well, I mean, I always listen, but really listening to why people come in the office, why they show up. And I think I inspire people because I live my life fully, and I know I want to be connected, be creative every day. I mean, I show up for myself, my best self, for my business, for my family. And we've got another participant here. So I just hear in the chimes, and we're admitting as they come in. So welcome to those who are joining. And I'm just going to continue along here. So I really want to be my best self. That's my goal, to inspire people to show up as their best self in their life, in their business. And really the vehicle of chiropractic has allowed me to do that. I have 4 small children. Between the ages of, get this, ladies, between the ages of 7 and 12, I had 4 children in 5 years, no multiples. I have 3 boys and my little girl. So, hey, you said yes to this webinar for some reason. Something spoke to you in the title of Press the Reset. Whatever that means, that may mean I want a do-over. I want to just pause the button, learn some new strategies, integrate knowledge. But like I opened with, knowledge is great if you do something with it, right? If you just add knowledge and knowledge and knowledge, it's like having a library full of books that you've read, you have that information, but you don't execute. So maybe there's something that's been in your body that's been breaking down. We're going to talk about breakdown. Maybe you're just, I'm tired of it. I don't want the train to go in this direction. Maybe you've realized that you've been changed through all of this quarantine, lockdown, COVID business, and you want you back. And you will do all it takes to get there. Maybe you realize, that threshold for tolerance, or that what I call bandwidth for dealing with stressful situations is way low. Like our tolerance has left the building. For whatever reason, I'm super happy that you're here, either online with me live, or listen to the recording. So please do stay until the end, or capture the recording to the end, because there is just an invitational offer coming your way. So let's get to it, ladies. Okay. So I always say to my children, like I said, I have 4 of the little gaffers. I say multiple times a day, you have a strong body, you have a healthy body, and you have a body that can heal. You have a strong body, a healthy body, a body that can heal. Whether they're sick or not, I want to, and I need to reinforce that positive aspect, that power inside our body, instead of reacting to the fear on the outside, but really reinforce what's within, right? Our bodies know exactly what to do, when to do, how to do it, how much of it to do, and it can do it faster and smarter than we ever can create in a petri dish. So you have a strong body, you have a healthy body, and a body that can heal. And there are strength, we all know there's strength in words. How we talk to ourselves impacts our body, impacts our physiology. So physiology just means what the heck's going on inside. And I'm going to uncover and kind of unravel that word physiology. So one of my goals today is impart to you your strength, your brilliance. The body is brilliant, not broken. So I want us to embrace that and really honor that. We all have, not only you, we all have the ability to come forward through any stressful situation. Okay? So whether it is this stressful situation, whether it's another stressful situation, we can choose to use that stress as fuel for the fire or baggage. So I know we all have the ability to really do that, move to that healthier version of ourselves. And we can learn how to be the best in all areas. Like how you do anything is how you do everything, because everywhere you look, you are. So when you peel away the layers, when you strip down to the core of you, what do we excel at? Everybody has something. When we look at, what are we dedicated to? What are our behaviors? What are our values? What's important to you? There's one area in everybody that will reflect a champion. Now, here's the trick. Here's the trick to master your life, is to take those attributes and transfer it to something you want to improve. Right? So we have to do that linking. And then nothing will stop you because you've linked your highest value to your behaviors. So then you begin to master your life. So as we continue, I can heal. I have a strong body, a healthy body, a body that can heal. There's those power in those words. When we say it, right, I feel actually empowered. I can heal. And if you really believe that, if you know in your heart that you can, you're halfway there. But when we have the world talking to us, we have the negativity, the doubt, the fear. It'll get to you if you don't have an armor sheath around you. It will break down in the body. So we think of high vibration words. Actually, I just did a training yesterday in my office on emotions and emotional intelligence, I guess, if you want to talk about like that. But the words, the high vibration words, joy, love, gratitude. Gratitude for the health that I have, gratitude for the health that I want for myself and my family, instead of the opposite, those lower vibration feelings and those lower vibrational words. So I get asked all the time, simple questions I get asked, and I like simple. Simple is, so when you have 4 children under 12, you got to keep it simple. And I keep it simple for people who I interact with, people who I network with, people who are in the office. I don't want to overwhelm them. Oh, so finally, I don't know what oh goodness me. Oh goodness me. This is, see, stressful situations. I don't want to do that. I just want, oh goodness me. Okay, well, pardon me, folks. You're seeing I don't want you to see. No, I don't want you to select any messages. I don't know. Oh goodness. Anyway, okay. How are we going to? I don't want the. I just don't want this mailbox. So, oh goodness me, guys. Okay. So let's just go like this. Maybe there. Okay. So that's. Okay. We're going back. Pardon me. Simple. See, stress. What do you throws you off your game? So I get asked questions all the time. How can I be as healthy for as long as possible? How can I master and unlock healthy for as long as possible? How do I decrease the impact of stress in my body is another question I get. And how can I positively impact the health of my entire family? So after today, I want you to get takeaways, simple, easy information, simple steps and action items. So let's begin here. All right. As a chiropractor, I deal with the nerve system. And the nervous system is that interface between the outside, like our environment, our life, and the inside of our body. So we live our life through the system. We experience and we express life through the system. So that inner part of our body, physiology, I just referred to that word, holds the information about the stress response of the past. Let me repeat that. That inner body, physiology, holds information about the stress response of the past, and we call that a pattern. So if you look at the nerves, they have different roles in the body. And the smaller section there, the blue, there's only 6% of the nerves in the body that go to pain. That's it. That's not a lot, Dr. Laura. 6% is really not a lot. 10% go to muscle or contracting different motor nerves. And the rest, the largest part, that orange, yellow, are what's called autonomic. Automatic, and these are the function nerves, and we want those to work, gosh darn it, the best. We want to be able to measure how they're functioning and increase that. So these are the nerves you just don't think about. Automatic, autonomic, the breathing, the heart rate, immune, digestion. We can't say, okay, immune system, secrete this biochemical now. Okay, liver, you're on. I mean, it just happens. And we can't feel how they're working until we can see that they're not. So they automatically work. And they run down from our brain. They run down the back to every tissue, organ, every system, gland, miles and miles of nerves. And they're covered with bones. They're covered with 24 movable bones. And really, that's a house, right? You have to protect the body. What did I say at the beginning? The body is brilliant in its design. So you have to protect that, which is important. So we have the house and we have the nervous system. So I like to discuss really concepts. I'm a conceptual gal. Keep it simple in concepts as it relates to this nerve system. So I will be covering 4 concepts. And the first one is a movement. So movement of the spine. So we talked about those 24 bones. They have to move to feed the brain. So as the spine, as that house moves, it signals the brain to literally come alive and come awake. So motion of the spine, and this is a whole nother presentation, but spines have to move for children to develop their milestones, to develop tummy time, to develop healthy curves and movement of the spine, so the brain creates positive neural pathways, and then they sit up, then they stand up, then they will crawl and they walk. And so these depend on movement of the spine to get those optimal pathways. It's a whole nother topic for another time, but so that movement of the spine, so you have 24 bones, they have to move specifically, they have to move individually. It's like candy for the brain. Not a great analogy, but it's like, whoo, alive, awake, and ingrains those neural connections. And we really, if that movement continues, we keep the good ones, we keep the good neural connections. And guess what? If that movement is not there, we prune away. And the bad ones, we don't keep the good ones, we just prune away the good ones over time, actually. So when that spine moves, so movement of the spine literally ignites the brain, like a light bulb. And most importantly, that front part of the brain, and that's called the prefrontal cortex. That's where we do all our executive brain functions. So if you think of a boardroom table, we have our decisions, our rational, our reasoning, our thinking, our impulse control, behavior, deductions, all those executive brain functions, they get stimulated when the spine moves. So if you don't have the stimulation, then the connections actually fail and that brain begins to shut off from the outside world. So no more input in, I can't communicate, I withdraw, I don't interact appropriately. Well, hey, does that sound familiar? Familiar for the last, the consequence of COVID, as I say, the last 6 months, 4 to 6 months. Sure, we're coming out of it now, but who knows? who knows what the lasting imprints that's made on our nervous system. I'd like to, I'm big on visuals and I'm big on analogies. So think of it, if I was a golfer, which I'm not a great golfer, but if I was standing, let's say on the 8th hole, and I'm standing and I send up a drone. We all know what a drone does. It surveys the lands, right? And I'm going to send it ahead of me. And it's going to get all the details that it can. It's going to really collect data. That's what a drone does. It collects data of the surroundings. It searches, it scours for information. It's going to look at, is the wind speed? Where are the trees? Are there other golfers? Are there hills? Are there, right? Okay, are there water? So it's going to get that information. Specifically, it says, okay, and am I safe and how do I adapt? So that drone, that information comes back to the golfer, and you know what the golfer does? Well, it changes accordingly. We call that adaptation. Changes its swing, changes its grip, changes its how long it's going to do the drive, changes course. So it takes that information from the drone comes in, and I change and I do things in response to that information. So again, just think about recently people who may have been frozen in their decision making because too much information. I can't take on any more information. I'm literally frozen in the amount of information they can take in. Or how do I navigate? I can't make any informed choices, whereas 6 months ago I could. Even if there's little information, I'm just frozen. I can't navigate. I can't take on anymore. So that spine needs to move the brain. Greater movement, greater perception of my environment. So that's that interface. So the nervous system is like a drone. Takes in that information, it perceives it, receives that information, tells your physiology, whew, how do I respond? So just think, I mean, this has been a massive time of COVID aside, high stress and overload of information, right? And you can think of me basically, how well have we moved? Well, our brain craves motion. If it doesn't get it, it becomes less vivid. Our world becomes less vivid if our spine doesn't move. So you tell me, have we been sitting at our desk more? Have we been not as active because our gyms have been closed? Have we been frozen and not gone out for a walk, right? So if your spine doesn't move, you download your life at lesser speed. Our responses are inaccurate to perceive the environment at hand. So just think, I mean, many of us, maybe yourself or somebody you love, they're living that less vivid life, or they're making choices that they wouldn't make before. You know? They're inappropriate, or they're the wrong choices, or they're too much. So just think that information in, how do I handle that? How do I process, and how do I tell my body what to do? So we rely on that information that's coming in at breakneck speed. Recently, we have taken hits and hits and hits and hits of overload. So let me concept. Here we are. Okay. So what the nervous system does is I'm just going to go up here. Perfect. When we look at that nervous system, what at first it does is keep us upright against gravity. Where am I in space? How do I hold my head? And how do I tell where I am in space and the horizon is? It allows me to fully adapt to my world in the appropriate way and become aware of what's going on inside. And it takes that body and it heals the body. So through those nerves, tells the body how to regrow, how to heal. So if I don't have spinal motion, what happens is that the breakdown ensues. Breakdown, if we don't have a positive counterforce to the breakdown, we will run into trouble. So movement of the spine is essential for the brain to really work. Concept number 2. We all know the game Jenga if you played it perhaps, but a spine that moves is fluid, right? Is flexible. Think about Neo if you've watched The Matrix, he's dodging bullets here and there, and he's fluid and flexible, and he demonstrates efficiency, strength, and ease. So when I have a tall, strong tower, I have more than enough energy. All my parts work together. I'm strong, I'm adaptable, I'm capable, and I'm resilient to the load of life. So if you look at the Jenga tower on the right, it's leaning to one side, you would recognize we know that it's inefficient. It's challenged at one false move. At any point it could collapse. It could become weakened. That one false move. I mean, in terms of motion, we can think of it as one segment of the spine, but yes, one block affects that level. If we pull out the tower, it affects the integrity of the whole. So yes, Jenga, if you pull out one tower, another block, become very unstable. And we have to work harder to stand upright. So think of that Jenga tower like your spine. If you put a bulb on the top or a light bulb, if that was a leaning tower of Pisa, we would be so inefficient. That brain has to work so much harder to keep stable, to keep upright. It actually it steals energy from other areas simply to fight gravity. So as chiropractors, I mean, we're minimizing it a little, or making it very simple. We do not bang bones back into place, but it does give the illustration of efficiency. When we lose motion or we lose that efficiency in one segment, we're not getting that proper input to the brain, and motion of the spine keeps the brain alive. If I say that 10 times a day, I say it 100. So yeah, sure, you can say that as a segmental, like one level, but it's really that overall system, because now the brain has to work harder. A leaning tower is a way more efficient. You are not going to fall over. Like, we're always going to stand upright, but at what cost? So yes, it's one block, it's local motion, it's distorted motion, inflamed, protected, immobile, but it does affect the overall system. So we lose that ability to stand upright. We all know people, Aunt Betty Sue, who's bent over at 90 degrees. We lose that ability to navigate gravity at the same time as we bend over or to the side, begin to, our balance, our coordination, we're weakened, we collapse to one side, we're exhausted because the body's actually stolen energy. If we only have a finite amount of energy, it's stolen from other areas and we collapse in. So then you look at putting that system under a load of life. You think about a stress, physical, emotional, chemical coming on that body who's already in a weakened state. Well, guess what? Our threshold for tolerance is lower. Our adaptability is lower and our resiliency is lower. And then we have a pattern and we have to try to hope that one block doesn't fall. And we navigate life with that pattern. And that's not a state of ease, right? I mean, you can think of how many hits has our nervous system, has our bodies taken over the last 4 to 6 months. A little block here, a little block there, a little bit weakened immune system. And man, we're less resilient. And which one's going to knock you over, right? Independent of how small. So when we think that, if we go back to the first concept, which is motion of the spine, so these all tie in together. Motion of the spine can happen at any age. I'm 45. Many people don't believe that, but I just turned 45 a few weeks ago. Lack of motion can start at any age. So what's lack of motion? That brain has to work hard. It can start at birth. It can start in the young years. It can start yesterday. That's a pattern through which we are hopefully trying to navigate life without too much consequence. But we're tired and exhausted at what cost? So concept 3, so we've got movement of the spine. We've talked about ease and efficiency. And the next concept, I love this concept. So think about a camera. So this concept of the way the nervous system works, it takes a picture, right? Takes that snapshot. And when we develop the film, I mean, that may be aging me here, but we see what was remembered. We see what was captured on that lens. The lens is what we live our life through. The film is what captured. So our nervous system's the same thing. So, you can think of that Polaroid camera when you used to shake out I remember that with my grandma. You shake that out and develops right before your eyes what was just on there. So these pictures are stored in our physiology. Physiology is that inside. Lens take the picture, physiology holds it. And I say the timeline of trauma. So it doesn't matter it's really independent of the events. So I don't, as a chiropractor, need to know what stress was on the body at 8, at 13, 35, 45, 55. It actually doesn't matter. so much as the event, as the nervous system stored that memorized pattern in the physiology, stored it. It memorized that response. Now I've got a lens through which I live life. So just think, again, I like to make it relevant. Think of the stress of the recent 4 to 6 months. Locked in the body, nowhere to go. It's memorized, it's in there, if it hasn't been escaped. So these patterns will show up and break down. I know that I am not alone in it. I see in the office every day the breakdown that happens in the body and its future patterns for our children. So now that I have this lens, this is how I view the world. This is how I interact with the circumstances. So the amazing thing, I guess, that sets me apart maybe as a different kind of chiropractor. It sets us apart because in my office we are not bone doctors. We see bodies and physiology that show up in the office, and I am able to assess the patterns, assess the tone of the body, assess that memory, because every body that walks in my office is a walking memory of those pictures. So that physiology, that inner working tells all. I don't need to know what happened at 32 to tell you what your physiology is feeling now that developed on that Polaroid. And we can measure that. And we can see how the body reacts and responds and stored. That's today. And the amazing thing is that nervous system, it doesn't stay static. It is neuroplastic, which means it changes. It can regrow. It can create new connections because the brain is always rewiring given the proper conditions. So we prune away old connections, literally Control Alt Delete, light the brain up, and we can unlearn, we can unwind, we can create a new lens over time, mind you, over time, through which we can navigate the next 40 years. Again, as another visual thing, our kids just went back to school. So as a teacher, and I say my teachers in my family, but I'm a teacher, I teach every day, right? If you, you come into class and you do a test. So you're examining where you're at now in your knowledge capacity. And as a teacher imparts knowledge to that class, hopes that we improve and test the learning at specific increments. So we really test the growth. That's what a teacher does. We close the gap. And the nerve system's always learning and developing new ways. And that's what I, as a chiropractor, do, is close the gap from, okay, where are we and where is optimal function? And that nervous system really move forward in a way that helps serve the body. Let's go to the last and final concept. Many people come into my office. I just had it yesterday. Gosh, Doc, I'm broken. Fix me here. You know what my response is? My response is, we are not broken. We do not need to be fixed. And we are way more than our parts. I say, I can't fix your shoulder, I can't fix your knee, I can't fix your hip, but I do facilitate a process of ease in the body when that system moves better and the brain becomes awake and alike. But how many of us have taken on that, really felt that we've just been hit and hit and hit again, not literally, figuratively, really, but felt battered, felt bruised and taken that beating through all of this. So many of us are attached and held on to our story. It could be a story of trauma. It could be a story of all the things that somebody has told me are quote unquote wrong with me. It could be held hostage by our story of ill health. And the people who will talk about it and retell, because it gets embedded. Where it gets embedded in our neurology. That's why people, we're not broken. We're brilliant. The body is brilliant. It has done all that it's needed to do to keep you alive, keep you moving, keep you having children, keep you on your path. It may not have served the body all that well, but it's kept you upright against gravity and moving ahead. Say, people don't need fixing. I want us to not think You go to my medical friends and we're parts. Chiropractor knows that we're whole and sees the body as whole. So yeah, we assess the function of the nerves to see how they're working, and we facilitate that process where you move to where you want to be, where we're more than the parts. And the more than the shoulder, I always say to people, you know what, I may not say it in these words, but I do say the problem's never the problem. So if somebody comes in with a shoulder or a knee, we've lost efficiency, and we have to dial that stress back down to get ourselves the ease back. But I can't fix shoulders. I can't fix sciatica or hangnails. But what we can do is bring that ease, that efficiency, extra resources, facilitate better function of the nervous system. So we have to get to restoration, and that's when the magic happens in bodies, in my world at least, as a chiropractor. So once that nervous system, once we've got the spine, once we've assessed the nervous system for function, the bones move properly, that brain is alive, awake, I can deal with life, I can handle the stress response is dampened, I am clearly connected to my environment. Concept 1, spine that moves. Concept 2, I'm ease, efficiency. Concept 3, I delete that old patterning, that lens. And concept 4 is we're not broken, we're brilliant. So then we're able to navigate the world. We're able to navigate gravity better, adapt fully, control, become really aware of who am I in my environment, and take in that world, perceive and tell my body what to do, and make changes when necessary. Then I can heal, right? I use the term load of life. I can handle my load of life better. I can be my best self. I can bring my physiology back into day so I can do what I love. And what do I love is way different than what you love, right? I love to run, to express, to work, to contribute, to speak, to tap into my creativity, to find joy, to find self, to find love again. So I ask you to consider, what would your life look like if you could engage more? If you could be more aware or more in control of your physiology so that stress response doesn't run amok? What would it look like if you could move better? What would it look like if your brain and your body were more connected to each other? So many people say, Doc, I've lost myself in all of this COVID news. I've lost what's important to me. Or just pre-COVID, it doesn't even need to be COVID. But when that brain lights up, gosh, under chiropractic care, we become online, and I experience and express that life within to the best of my ability. In our office, you'll see this poster up, and I love it because it's a mountain climber. I say, I'm on the journey of health with you, and we start at the bottom, and that's really movement. Spine that moves is a brain that works. And as we move up, there may be storms of life that push us down. Gosh darn it, like a cloud is going to push that climber not off, but he's going to push him down for sure. So as we move up, motion of the spine keeps the brain alive. We have to interrupt old patterning. What does the lens say? And we have tests that do that measure the state of the nervous system to date. The first goal of mine is getting people to that third rung up, which is restoration, which is ease, which is out of that fight or flight, which the brain can take a break and say, I can breathe. We don't eat an apple once and be healthy. We don't hit restoration and that's it, because the storms of life come. As we move up, we begin to reorganize, we begin to heal the top of our pyramid. And I say I hold for people at the top, whether they get there, whether they want to get there. But that's in the nervous system that we've dialed down the stress. Brain can take a break. I can see beyond myself. I can connect to others for joy, for experiences. And I can be all that I create, all that I can be. And be the healthiest climber for the load of life, for the next stress that's going to come along. And my gosh, we will encounter that. So how strong do you want to be? Or how many people say, I'm off the mountain, Doc. Yeah. And I mean, we're just in this connection. If we go to connection, which is, the brain is wired for connection. Socially, we are social beings. We are wired for connection. We lost that during COVID. And we see that in people's fear right now. And this is not a webinar on COVID at any means, but what have we lost? What have our families lost? We've lost that connection. It feeds the brain. So this is what chiropractic care can offer. Is that nervous system that's more connected. that moves better, lights up that prefrontal cortex, dampens the stress response, and over time, I get to a state of sustained ease. That means I'm more at ease than I am out of ease. If a fire alarm happened, my gosh, I gotta act, but gosh darn it, gotta come out of that pretty darn fast. Not stay in that will be exhausting, and that will break down the body. So here we are coming to the end. I have a few minutes left here. And people ask me, number one, how do I get to the top? How do I become resilient in times of stress? And what do I do to help my family and our brains when they learn about chiropractic and the brains to be the best for our entire life? So the process in my office, if you're interested, is number one, get your nervous system assessed, not your back. The strength of your nervous system assessed, and this for yourself and your loved one. How am I able to handle that load of life? Where's my resiliency at? What's my tolerance to the load of life? And move us to a more dialed down system and really think about what that would look like. How much more joy, more connection, more love, more healing? How much more expressed could my body be? And really, we think of function is the key. So I invite you to take advantage of my offer. So normally an initial assessment, which is consultation, exam, nerve scan, x-ray if necessary, and first adjustment is and my report. So I go over, hey, what's my plan for you? Is $150. For attending this webinar, I would love to gift it to you for $47. So that's my invitational offer for you. So I measure state of the nervous system, I tell you my findings, and I come up with the plan. So this not only can be for yourself, it can be for a family member. It can be for a friend. It can be for a child, a husband, a spouse, somebody you think, oh my gosh, they need to, this is this brain-based chiropractic. There's something to that. So all you do is you email info@ChiroLaura. In the subject line, please put offer, please, empowering woman, or you can call 519-433-9222 and to Tiffany, my assistant, webinar for empowering women, and we'll see that you get scheduled in. I am going to put a timeline of this of 2 weeks. So 2 weeks today, let me see what 2 weeks today is. 2 weeks today is let's go to the 23rd. So until October the 23rd, which is a Friday, I will extend that until. So I invite you to be curious. I invite you to be curious about what the future could be like with a nervous system that is optimally functioning. The journey's yours, and it really does begin with knowledge, but take that knowledge to take the first step along the path. So I thank you so much for attending today. Concepts are key in my world to explain, and I wish you the journey of health is yours. Let's make the climb. I do the climb with everybody. I'm on that climb with you. So again, I'm Dr. Laura Gravel, Gravel Family Chiropractic, and my tagline is get adjusted, live your best life. So thank you so much for joining. And again, that offer is extended till the 23rd.